Good evening. Also tonight, Cycling Australia finally loses patience with Lucy Taylor-Sharman. FIFA tours South Africa's proposed World Cup sites, and we find out what makes the world's best sports teams so successful. Well, in world sport, there are some teams whose names are synonymous with success. Rugby Union's All Blacks, football's Bayern Munich, the Australian cricket side, and Formula One's Williams team. They've all experienced unparalleled long-term success in their respective fields. But what is it that drives them to such dizzy heights? Well, Professor Clive Gilson is the co-author of the book Peak Performance, which looks at 10 sporting organisations around the globe, and he joins me in the studio tonight. Clive, welcome.
Good evening, Wes.
Thanks for coming in. Now, you, as I said in that introduction, you've spent a lot of time with some of the world's greatest teams. What sets them apart from the others?
I think the first thing which our teams have really understood is that in order to be successful on the team, you need an organisation behind it. If you take the Australian Cricket Board, at the moment, Dennis Lillee is not playing, Jeff Thompson's not playing, Sir Donald Bradman's not playing. Instead, we have Shane Warne and Steve Waugh. In order for organisations to be truly successful, in order for the teams to be truly successful, you need to have an organisation behind it. And that's essentially what the Australian Cricket Board have been able to do. They've been able to organise for sustained peak performance. The players come and go. It's the organisational footprint that makes the difference.
Now, you're talking about general success, aren't you? Not just on-field success. So if you're talking about commercial success and overall growth, what about results? Because the simplistic view is that if you win, you're successful, that's it.
No, that's not our take at all. Our take is that sustained contention is really what sets us apart. And the 10 organisations that we have in our book are organisations which have sustained contention over a long period of time. That's where our interest really lies. And we believe that it's the organisational practices in the sport of business, as it were, that does set them apart.
Which setup of these that you've written about impressed you the most?
I think all of them, in many ways, it's very difficult to identify them. We had a wonderful time with the Chicago Bulls catching the end of the Jordan era. The Australia Cricket Board is a tremendous organisation. If you take Women's Hockey Australia, Netball Australia, both those organisations really follow the flair and innovation that's on the court, on the field. And all three of those organisations in Australia very much took our fancy. We really enjoyed working with them.
Now, there seems to be a constant theme in the book at setting new targets and continually raising the bar, so to speak. Is this the same across different sporting cultures?
Yeah, we believe that the greatest imaginable challenge is something which organisations constantly strive for. If I can give you an example, Team New Zealand have just retained the America's Cup, beating Prada. And their greatest challenge was to retain the America's Cup. It's now to retain the America's Cup forever. So there's always a resetting of goals and exceeding the organisational best at every particular era.
You worked with the Chicago Bulls as well at the height of their era, which must have been fascinating. What, in this context of success, what sort of impact did Michael Jordan have in reality, as much as we all believe it was?
Indeed so. They call the United Center the house that Michael built. And when we were there with the Chicago Bulls, we talked with Michael in the locker room before a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we learned a great deal from him. But I think I have to say that our story is really focused on the organization. And what we were impressed with is the way in which the organization was able to work with Michael Jordan and make sure that the organization could benefit from the years after Michael Jordan's retirement.
And the book, Peak Performance, pardon me, which I should mention is published by HarperCollins. What's been the response so far?
It's been outstanding. We've had tremendous publicity, CNN, Sky News, the Financial Times, Daily Telegraph, and at the moment we understand from HarperCollins London that it's currently outselling any of the business books that they've published in the last 10 years, so we're very happy.
Well, good luck with it, Professor. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Clive Gilson, co-author of the book